Let us look at quadratic equations part 2, where we will look at solving quadratic equations. Solving the quadratic equation or finding the roots means finding those values of x which, when substituted in the quadratic expression, makes it equal to 0. So to solve this equation, we have different methods: factorization method and quadratic formula method. So let's begin with an example. So let's say we have f of x is equal to x square plus 4x plus 3, and this should be equal to 0. We have to find such a value of x. Here a is equal to 1, the coefficient of x square, b is equal to 4, that is coefficient of x, and c is equal to 3, that is the constant. Now factorization method, let's take it step by step. Take the product of a and c. So a is 1, c is 3, so 1 times 3 is equal to 3. Now we have to find two numbers whose product is AC and the sum is B. So we have to find two numbers such that their product is equal to 3 and their sum is equal to 4. So we can create a table like this. Now when it comes to 3, we can factor it only by 1 and 3, or minus 1 minus 3, or minus 1 plus 3, or plus 1 minus 3. Those are the only possibilities. I've chosen only 2 just to show. So when we take minus 1 times minus 3, we get 3. When we add minus 1 minus 3, we get minus 4. So the product is 3, but the sum is not 4, it is minus 4. So we do not accept this. Now let's take 1 and 3. The product is 3 and the sum is 4, which is what we wanted. So 1 and 3 is the two numbers whose product is AC and sum is B. So now we write it like this: x square plus 1x plus 3x plus 3 equal to 0. Which means what have we done? We have split this 4x into two parts, 1x and 3x, using these two numbers. Let's take x square plus 1x. Common factor is x, so we take it out. We have x times x plus 1 plus, now 3 is common to both of these two terms, so we take it out. 3 times x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now x plus 1 and x plus 1 are common to both of them, so we can take it out and write it as x plus 1 times x plus 3 equal to 0. Two factors will multiply and give us 0 if one of them is 0. So that means x plus 1 equal to 0 or x plus 3 equal to 0, which means x is equal to minus 1 or x is equal to minus 3. So therefore, the roots are minus 1 and minus 3. So the coordinates are minus 1 comma 0 and minus 3 comma 0. Now let's actually draw the graph and see what happens. Let's draw the graph of x square plus 4x plus 3, and you will notice that this curve is intersecting the x-axis at minus 1 and minus 3. Okay, so that was using the factorization method. Now let's look at the quadratic formula method. We have already seen the quadratic formula is x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. You have to remember this. So now substituting the values of b, a and c, we get minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 square minus 4 times 1 times 3 divided by 2 times 1. Now simplifying this, we get minus 4 plus or minus square root of 16 minus 12 divided by 2. Further simplification, minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 by 2, and taking the square root, we get x equal to minus 4 plus or minus 2 by 2. 2 is common to both of them, so we can take 2 out and that cancels out with the denominator. So we are left with minus 2 plus or minus 1, which means x is equal to minus 2 plus 1 or x equal to minus 2 minus 1. X equal to minus 1 or x equal to minus 3, which is exactly what we had arrived at using the factorization method. So the coordinates are, or the roots are minus 1, minus 3, and the coordinates are minus 1, 0 and minus 3, 0. Factorization method may not be possible all the time, but quadratic formula will work every time. Now let's look at the second problem. Minus 3x square plus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now here a is minus 3, b is equal to 8, and c is equal to minus 3. And here we can do it using factorization method. That I will leave it up to you. The only thing you have to do is minus 3 times minus 3, that is a times c, gives us 9. We have to split 9 into two numbers, or we have to find two numbers such that when we multiply it, we get 9, and when we add it, we get plus 8. So I'll leave it up to you. Now let's use the quadratic formula method. Remember the quadratic formula, x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a. Now simplify. Minus 8 plus or minus square root of 64 minus times minus times minus. So odd number of times minus is there. So minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 3 is 36 divided by minus 6. So be careful about the signs. So x is equal to minus 8 plus or minus square root of 28 divided by minus 6. Now we can split this into two fractions. Minus 8 by minus 6 plus or minus. This is 4 7s 28. So square root of 4 is 2. So 2 root 7 divided by minus 6. Simplifying it, we get x equal to 4 by 3 plus or minus 2 3s. Right? So we have minus root 7 by 3. So here we have a plus minus sign multiplied by a minus. So which means plus minus times minus changes the signs. So hence we end up with minus plus. It doesn't really matter, but in this case, it really doesn't matter, because in any case, we are going to have two roots. So x equal to 4 by 3 minus plus root 7 by 3, which if we write it as two separate roots, we get x equal to 4 by 3 minus root 7 by 3 and x equal to 4 by 3 plus root 7 by 3. Now let's look at the graph, whether what we have done is correct or not. We can always verify it algebraically also. Just substitute this in the equation. Minus 3 times the square of this plus 8 times this minus 3 should give us 0. Similarly for this as well. So let's draw the graph. We have this graph. Here the coefficient of x square, that is a, is negative. So it is opening downwards and it is intersecting the x-axis at these 2 points. This point is 4 by 3 minus root 7 by 3, and this is 4 by 3 plus root 7 by 3. If you notice that the two roots lies at equal distances on either side of 4 by 3. Here it is 4 by 3 minus root 7 by 3 and 4 by 3 plus root 7 by 3. That means they both are equidistant from 4 by 3, comma 0. So if we plot it, we get this point. Now let's mark these 2 points as A and B, the coordinates of the roots, and let F be the midpoint. Now let's draw a line perpendicular to the x-axis through F, and you will notice that it intersects the parabola, let's say at G. So let A and B be the points where the parabola intersects the x-axis, and let F be the midpoint of the line segment joining A and B. We have drawn FG perpendicular to x-axis meeting the parabola at G. Then G is the vertex of the parabola. The line through FG, that is the orange line, is called the axis of symmetry. So that was solving quadratic equations. That's it for now. Bye.